This old Koot could definitely teach us a thing or two.
Stay nutty and get your geek on.
What's up, guys? Basically coming back at you guys. Yeah, another Transformers video review. And today we are going to be taking a look at the Fanstoys Koot, which is their take on a masterpiece, Cup. I'm just gonna say flat out right now, since I have this, no, I will not be getting X-Transbots Lock. I'm gonna have a conversation as to why I'm not getting a lot of stuff, but that's gonna have to come at a later time. Right now, there's a lot with this that I need to talk about. But before I can get to what I need to talk about with this figure specifically, my apologies. We first got to look at, well, his accessories. He comes with the clear window pieces, which you literally just pop the solid ones off, plug these on. You can clearly tell that none of these accessories ever left this baggie, because I have no intentions of using them. And the same goes for this very IDW-ish cigar smoking face. Although admittedly the sculpt on this is beautiful. Last but certainly not least, he comes with his Target Master. This is one of the coolest things I've ever seen. So we'll get into this a little bit more once we get further into the video. And then of course his blaster rifle. Now, let me be clear. Overall, I like this figure a lot. But I need to be real here when I say the figure overall is a pain in the balls. And I wish there was an easier way for me to say that, but there honestly isn't, because this figure's transformation gives me a headache half the time. And it's not because I don't like the figure, I actually truly do. It's just the transformation on this guy is so unbelievably aggravating. Just trying to get this back into vehicle mode for the sake of doing this video made me want to tear my hair out. And obviously there's tons of good points with this as well. But I needed to be very clear with you guys when I say, please actually give this video a watch, because I torture myself with some of these transformations half the time. This is not going to be one of those exceptions. He is a pain. But specifically for you guys, I deal with these transformations. With that said, I think the vehicle mode, for what it is, looks fantastic. I like this a lot. This entire front section is is basically nothing but die-cast metal. There is a heft to this dude, because these pieces are die-cast. I believe his toes are die-cast? Yeah, his toes are die-cast even. This entire front section right here, like this entire section right here, this is die-cast. I'm pretty sure there's more spots on here that are die-cast that I'm not quite picking up on, but you get the point. This is a very die-cast heavy figure, and because of that, it leaves a lot of things vulnerable, we'll say. And also this does a neat little thing with these that you'll see in a minute. But all in all, this is what you get. I got QC31 on this one, so there we go. Now, as far as his vehicle mode goes, you kind of already saw it in the opening footage for the review, but you can indeed plug in the little rifle that he comes with. So pop that back out. If you wanted to, you could have another figure sit in his back section. Jackie, come here. There we go. There we go. I admit it's stupid, but it's whatever. Alright. Well, I think it's time to, you know, properly do this. Flip the little toes down. Undo this section right here, which should unlock relatively easily. Come on. There we go. There we go. Alright, once you get that piece up, just go ahead and leave this back here and do the same thing on the other side. Once you've got it like that, come to the back here and then just undo the legs from this back piece right here. And then we'll do leg things. First things first, bend it up and then straighten it on this hinge. So where this was folded up like that, straighten that, and then where this one was bent back, bend it back forward. Because then you're going to be taking these two bits, bringing them up like this to effectively slide them into place. But you should slide this piece outward to fold this up onto the back of the leg, and then you should be able to... What the hell? What's going on here? Did I not do something right here? I'm fairly certain I did it right. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Now it's in. That you just flip that whole piece down and it covers that up. I tend to have issues with this panel staying closed, but whatever. Same on the other side. Alright, there we go. Now to start working on all this. Rotate this piece around like this. Take these pieces, rotate them forward like this. At least it should rotate. Unless I'm a dunce. Because normally this doesn't fight me as much as it is right now. That's strange. Huh. Give me just a second. Okay, so my mistake. You undo this first, and this is gonna happen a lot. This is gonna be the last time I plug this thing on. If it pops out again, I'm not putting it back on until we get to robot mode. But basically, once you undo this bit, it should allow you to basically get this moved up and out of the way. Come in here, flip up the head, and get these little lock pieces out. And that's basically what you need to be. Take this whole front section and just flip it down like this. Flip this up and in, and this will basically flip and fold in here. But we can't do that until we get all of this other stuff in here flipped forward. Which, to start doing that, we need to move these out of the way and get the shoulders up like this. So once you have everything moved out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and swing these pieces forward And then swing these pieces forward, which are his little hip sections. And don't be a dunce like me and flip them forward too fast. There we go. We need to compress all this into his back. So we need to slide this down, bring these around like this, and these just fit right here. Like I said, this, once you have the clearance for it, just fold up down in there. And that basically fills out his entire upper body. Now, for the front, these little things that I mentioned right here, I'm doing this side first because it gave me the most trouble getting it back into vehicle mode because it's super tight. Actually, you know what? Give me a second. Basically, instead of fighting with it, I chose to just get in there and loosen the screw. Do the same thing over here, which this just rotates around, which now this one all of a sudden doesn't want to operate. There we go. Once you got those flipped around, you can go ahead and start to collapse these in. And they should intersect right in the middle to allow you to flip this entire piece down and tab it into place. And this is what effectively makes his upper torso. Now, the fun parts begin. Twist his arms around and straighten them to make those look proper. This entire thing goes into this cavity. The locks that you have to have flipped up that are on the sides of his head lock in up here. And his neck, or the panel that his head is on, will lock in right here. And you have to have these like this, because these are going to line up with this. So you just got to have all of this functioning exactly right. And if you do, it all should fit right into place. You see what I mean with those? And now it should all just push in. Push forward. And then lock that in. Push this down. Okay, maybe I shouldn't have locked that in first. Try the head first. Try not to break this frickin' thing. But you basically get one more time. This fought with me way more than it should have, but an optional thing you can do here is rotate these panels around to have the flat piece showing instead. Jeez, man, stop fighting with me. Oh wait, he's a cranky old man. Of course he's gonna fight with me. Now whatever. Let's just go ahead and get into the final. Not final thought. You know what I'm about to do. And there's the robot mode. Gotta say, that is a very G1-y cup. It flat out screams cup. And I don't know what else to say other than leaking lubricant. Somebody let the piece out. I don't know, man. Take it for what you will, but the sculpt, the presence, it all screams cup. And that is exactly why I went with the Fanstoys instead of any other possible versions of the character that I could have gotten. Which now leads us back to this. This is his little target master. As you know, he turns into a little gun. His articulation is as it goes. He's got the rotation here at the head. 2 joints here in the shoulders that go for in and out, as well as fully spin around. A ball joint at the elbow that allows it to curl as well as rotate. A separate hinge at the elbow, nothing at the wrist. Waist swivel. No ab crunch, really. Yeah, no ab crunch. Ball joint hip. Double jointed knee. First joint is the hinge. Second joint is the ball joint. And ball jointed ankles that give him tons of movement. For all intents and purposes. And that leg just fell right off. That's the first time he's done that in a while. When I first got him, his legs were falling off constantly, but they kind of stopped doing that. That's the first time he's done it since I got the figure. Anyways, transformation is as goes. Flip this entire thing forward like this. Close up his arms. And then bring them in like this and tab them together. Although admittedly, probably should spin the head around. Or wait a minute, I don't think you can. Yeah, no, you can't because this pin gets in the way of his head crest. So, yeah, scratch that. Anyways, this whole thing will basically just flip around like this. Rotate him at the knees. Tab his legs together. Flip it around. Peg it in right here. Set right there. Flip up. Sit right in there. And there he is as a gun. Which cup can hold. So, we will show that off later. Size comparison wise, does MP Sideswipe, MP Ratchet, Ocular Max Saltus, MP Ultra Magnus, MPRC, and Fanstoys Sovereign. He can indeed hold his weapons via the typical Masterpiece style, palm of the hand, or tab in the palm of the hand. I especially love having him hold the Target Master. Always gotta double check to make sure he's got a good grip on that, which he does. Which is great. This whole war veteran definitely looks like he's seen some action. Yeah, I think this is great. Articulation wise, he does have a ball joint in his neck, but it really only allows him to turn his head because the up and down is a bit limited. He gets a little bit more up than he really gets down. Once again, the paint in the eyes does wonders for a figure. The shoulders are like that and can rotate around on it. Alright, let's try that again. Shoulders rotates on a ratchet and go in and out on just a separate hinge, bicep swivel, double jointed elbow, rotates at the wrist, hands open up, base pin knuckle, typewriter fingers. Waist rotates just a tad, no ab crunch. Dual hinge hips that just go for the full split. Whoa, easy there. Ratchets that allow for forward and back. Doesn't quite get the full Monty, but we'll take it. Thigh swivel. Double jointed knee. And an ankle tilt. So there is Koot's level of articulation. Final thoughts wise, let's talk about the negatives. Clearly enough, as you can see, his transformation is a disaster. It's an absolute disaster. I don't know what the hell is up with Fanstoys engineering as of late, but these figures give me a absolute frigging headache. The only two that really didn't were Sheridan, Spindrift 1.0, and Phoenix. Those are the only three so far that have not given me any issues. Him and Sovereign make me want to bash my skull into a wall. Their transformations are frustrating. There's a difference between a frustrating transformation and a fun and intuitive one, with complexity. This is complex for the sake of being complex. There's nothing very well thought out with the engineering. And with that said, there is a lot of stuff that is extremely loose on this. For instance, my thigh swivels are relatively loose. A couple of my panels are relatively loose. Some of the panels on here are a little too tight. The neck joint is a little too tight. Or at least it was. It's loosened up over time. I'm hoping and praying it's not because the ball joint is slowly starting to work itself off of its actual mounting point. But, you know, the head's still on. The head's still functional. So long as it stays that way, I'm good to go. He can't really pose nearly as well as most of my other figures, which kind of sucks, especially given how much he goes for, especially on the aftermarket. Yeah, there's just a lot with this guy that I wish was better. But where this guy shines the most is his display presence. This thing has paint out the wazoo. They basically painted this sucker from head to toe. The sculpt is just perfect. You cannot look at that head and, I dare you to try and look at this head and tell me this isn't Cup. It's a spitting image of the guy. The overall feel of the figure is top notch. Nothing on him truly feels like it's gonna break. And that is one of the things I have to continuously tip my hat to Fanstoys on. Their stuff rarely feels like it's gonna break. I had something crack on me with Sovereign, but that was because I was rushing it. When you take your time and really understand the figure of which you are dealing with, the transformation will hold up. The materials will hold up. And overall, despite a few things with the figure that drive me absolutely batty, the transformation being one of them, I'm willing to let a lot of that slide, especially since he's a gold seal product. He's fantastic. He is truly fantastic. He's not absolutely mind-blowing, and he's not so good to the point where, well, you know, he would take platinum seal. But gold, I feel, is fair. I definitely feel like gold is a fair rank to give this. I like it a lot. But he does have his issues. But these are issues that honestly, ultimately, I'm willing to let him slide. He's a really well done figure. If you have not gotten yourself one, I highly recommend you do. Figure out a way to get yourself one of these. It's fantastic. I love it to death. With that said, guys, this is BC Saying Stay Nerdy. Get your geek on. I'll talk to you guys later.